Alright folks, so today we're going to do a very quick brake pad change. We're going to look at how and when to change our brake pads. So let's get into it. So the first indicator as to whether my pads or whether your pads are running low is how far the lever comes back to the bar. If it's starting to come back a little further than usual, you might find the pads need to be changed. So let's have a look at the pads. If we're changing the rear pads, we want to make sure we shift the gears into the small ring first. It's just going to make it so much easier to get the wheel off. Okay, so now the wheel's off. We've got to remove this. Now every connector is slightly different. Here I have an Allen bolt on this side and a little safety pin here. Be sure to remove this little safety pin first, otherwise it'll pop off, fly away, and you'll never find it again. Now with these we can just grab these pads, pull them out, and there's your pads. There's a little spring, like a little spacer spring in between there. Let's take a closer look at them. Now, whatever you do while the pads are not in the bike, do not squeeze the brake. A close look at these pads, these old pads. We can use this spring as a gauge, so you can see the depth of the pad a little bit there. And if I put this spring on, you can just about see that that's almost the same depth. So that's getting really close to that little pad spacer. So that's definitely time to change. Got some new pads, so let's get them in. So these are the new pads. They do not come with the little screw, so make sure you don't lose it. They do come with a new spring though. Be sure not to touch the pad surface. We'll just set up the spring with the pads. When you're trying to figure out what pads you need, there should be a number on the back plate if you haven't let them wear down too much or get rusty in here. So you should have a number on here, and that's the pad you're looking for when you go into the shop. If you're unsure which way round they go, you can check with the front pads. Be sure to squeeze them together nicely. Sometimes if the pistons have crept out a little bit whilst you've been figuring out the pads, you might need to push them back in. But do not use anything sharp or metal. You can get pad spacers, but if you use something rubbery, it's going to be way gentler on the pistons. They've slotted in nicely now. Let's get the screw and the clip. Okay, so once those pads are in, you might need to recenter the caliper. So what you want to do is, this one's actually okay. This worked out pretty good. There's no rub on that, which is awesome. But if you do, you want to undo the two mounting bolts for the caliper, squeeze on the brake lever to clamp those two pads down, and then tighten both of these up whilst you're still squeezing on the lever. Doing that will make sure that the disc is centered nicely between the pads so there's no dragging. Make sure before you go for a ride to bed those pads in. Best way to do that is just to hold the brake on while you ride around for a little bit. Just hold that brake on, bed those pads in. Also, you can just ride super fast, slam the brake on, and do that a few times, like 4 or 5 times. Obviously, if it's the front brake you've just swapped out, don't go slamming that on like crazy. You just want to ride with the brake on. But the rear brake, you can just slam it on a few times, try and come to a nice, strong stop a few times. That'll bed the brakes in, and don't do anything crazy on a first run new set of pads. So I hope that helps. If you like this kind of video, then let me know. Put a comment below, hit the like button, and I'll make more little easy bike adjustment and maintenance videos. Just thought I'd do this today just to help you guys out. As I was doing it myself, thought I'd record the process. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, hit the like button, all that good stuff, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers.